Sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast presented by FanDuel. Saturday, May 23rd, 2026. This is the weekend shift. I'm J.E. Skeets, acting as a player coach here today in the yard. So please bear with me as I try to one-man band a classic for you. Shout out to everybody joining me live on YouTube. Appreciate that. Hit the like button, subscribe, and hello to all of our podcast listeners as well. Hopefully everybody can see me and hear me, and we're crystal clear. It is a rainy, gloomy day here in Atlanta. I was going nuts right before I went live because I could hear outside of my office here the dripping of water in the eaves troughs, gutters, as you Americans like to call them, on the house, dropping down the pipe and then hitting the bottom of it. And it was like making me go nuts. I don't think it's coming through on the mic. That's just me. That's just my OCD. But we're okay. We're fine. We'll power through this. Again, hello. I'm here to share some thoughts on Game 3. We'll talk quickly about the all-defensive teams, them snubbing my boy Scotty Barnes for the first team, and we'll do a quick look ahead to tonight's Game 3 maybe in Cleveland as the Cavs try and get their first victory. But let's get into it. Game 3. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 26 points, 12 assists, as OKC climbed out of an early hole, a deep hole, minutes into the game, and they beat the Spurs 123-108 on Friday night. They take the 2-1 lead in the Western Conference Finals. Let's do it like this. I think I have 6 or 7 takeaways from this game. The first one is the Spurs hot start. Let's start with the good for San Antonio. They had a 15-0 lead in Game 3, which they're telling us was like one of the longest runs to open a game in the conference finals that we've ever seen since the play-by-play data. So that's cool. What a start. De'Aaron Fox opened it up by zipping by Lou Dort. A little left-hand layup. He looked solid there to start. You're like, okay, that's a great sign. Then Wembanyama followed it up with crossing up Isaiah Hartenstein out at the three-point line, banged home the three. You had Reggie going nuts early in this one. Wait a minute now. Then Castle grabbed an offensive rebound off of Julian Champagny, missed in the corner. He drew the foul. He hit free throws. And then Devin Vassell grabbed a defensive board, brought it up the floor. There was miscommunication by OKC on defense. So Vassell just stepped into a three up top, banged that home in semi-transition. Spurs up 10-0. Timeout. Mark wants a timeout. Because what a start. And that place was going nuts there with the color-coded t-shirts, the Fiesta t-shirts, and they had another TIFO, and San Antonio's going berserk. What a great start. You're thinking, okay, here we go. It continued after the timeout, if we're being honest, too. I mean, the defense was elite as well. Big blocks and obviously getting stops. But then you had a fast break layup off another turnover. And then, Castle had a huge block. And then another Devin Vassell three. And just like that, it's 15-0. And it's like, holy crap. OKC's just been punched in the mouth. But they've been here, done that. And to quote the great Marcus Thompson III, I love this line that I saw him write on the Times this morning. He said, quote, after San Antonio jumped out to a 15-0 lead, Oklahoma City walked them down slowly like the killer in an 80s horror film. Slow and methodically just walked back into this game and then killed them at the end or throughout the game. I mean, it had moments where it's sort of like, okay, there's something here, but they always had an answer. And usually it was the bench. And that is the second point. Probably most people's first takeaway from Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals, but I wanted to show some love to that hot Spurs start that just had the place ready to explode. But the bench, instrumental for OKC in coming back. Their starters only scored 47 points. I mean, Lou Dort, he's done sort of nothing offensively in this series. AJ Mitchell only had 2 points. We'll get to him sort of leaving and the injuries that are still playing a part in this series. And, that's 2 guys starting because there's no J-Dub that are, again, giving you 2 points. For a lot of teams, that's going to be a problem. Not for OKC because their reserves outscored the Spurs reserves 76-23 in Game 3. 76-23. I had to repeat that. That's a massive differential. 4 guys were awesome off the bench. Jared McCain scored a playoff career high 24 points. He had 16 in the second half. He had, in a quarter that took forever, he had big buckets there in the third. Just the great balance he has right now of hitting threes, of course, being set up by SGA a lot of the time, but then being able to put the ball on the ground and actually drive and either finish or make plays, hit the little jumpers. Like, this is something, especially without J-Dub, that the Thunder last year, big chunks of this year, they lacked. It was like SGA was the main creator, again, without J-Dub there. So for them to get this guy, oh my God. Like, what an addition. Daryl Morey, I mean, the joke going around last night was like, Daryl Morey was just high when he traded Jared McCain. He wasn't selling high. He just happened to be super high. And he's like, yeah, it sounds like a good deal. How many picks? Okay. So awesome game from him. Jalen Williams, the other one, the big one. He scored 14 of his playoff career high, 18 in the first half. He added 5 boards. So he was awesome. He had the big 4-point play that sort of felt like it iced the game a little bit. Cason Wallace, the most Cason Wallace stat line of all time. This is the Cason Wallace stat line, okay? It's about 10 or 11 points. He had 11 last night. It's about 4 or 5 rebounds. He had 5. It's about 4 or 5 assists. He had 4. And it's usually 3 steals. That is the Cason Wallace line. So he was awesome. And then Caruso, oh yeah, this guy continues to be, I don't know, probably the 3rd best player at least in this series so far. He had 15 points, a few rebounds, obviously a couple defensive metrics there, 2 steals, 1 block. So he was great too. He's shooting like Steph Curry-like numbers from 3 in a series so far. So that's good. Elmer Fudd is cooking. And so for the series, after last night, the Thunder's bench has outscored the Spurs reserves 183-64. I'm doing the math real quick. That's damn near tripling them up through 3 games. 183 points. Is that right? That sounds even higher than I think. That's crazy if that's right. Now I'm questioning that stat I saw. That sounds insane. 183 points in 3 games from the bench. Holy moly. Well, I guess they had 76 last night, though. Unbelievable. So that's the second takeaway. Third takeaway, I'll stick with OKC here, but what the what the Spurs maybe need to do, or maybe they'll switch up. And that is, should the Spurs change their defensive strategy on Shea? Because obviously the game plan, as it's been here now through 3 games, is as much as possible, force the ball out of his hands, pressure him, throw random doubles at him, stay heavy in the gaps, as he talked about. Basically make anybody else beat us if you can. They are. As I just went through, everybody else is beating them. So, and SGA, as he's gotten more and more comfortable with the coverage and where help's coming from and where guys are moving on his team, he's just racking up these assists. This is the second game in the series. He had 12 assists. That's a playoff career high. He had 12 assists in game 7 of the finals last year. And now twice in this series, 12 assists, only had 2 turnovers too. So through 3 games, SGA has 33 assists and 7 turnovers. He is just like a surgeon right now. He is, obviously picks his spots of when to score, when to attack. He was money at the line when he got there. Didn't miss one of those with his quick free throw attempts. But you got to wonder, I know it sounds silly, but maybe because everybody else is in such a flow and that ball has so much energy, do you go back to staying home on some of these other guys and try and just hope SGA has one of these bad games where he's just obviously taking it more one-on-one? I don't know. I mean, of course, the answer is to always switch it up and never let him get comfortable with one sort of defensive assignment. But the way everybody else is playing and the way he's seeing everything right now, that's a possibility that maybe Mitch Johnson will try, or the Spurs will try. Sean Sweeney will try. But overall, my one thought with this series so far, or at least the way SGA and the Thunder have played, is last year they won the title, and SGA was we weren't that great. I could play better. He definitely said that. He said, I myself could have played better in the postseason. And I think that does extend to his team even last year. I mean, he took 2 7-game series. At times looked beatable. Obviously, we're trailing just like they were in this series. But the point was, he was like, we won the whole damn thing, and I don't even think we played that well. And he's sort of backing that up because they are sort of hitting a whole other level here. So scary, of course, for the rest of the league and for the Spurs fans. Fourth takeaway, Thunder are doing a good job of limiting, let's say that, Wembanyama. He had 26 points in game 3 last night, so he got his points. But for the second consecutive game, he only scored 10 points in the paint after a monster first game where he was scoring, he scored 26, I think, of his 41 in the paint in game 1. So this has gone down and maintained or leveled out here from 2 and 3 with only 10 points. He only had 4 boards, 0 on the offensive glass. So, okay, what's going on here? The first part is, well, what changed from game 1 to game 2 was how they played him. Bully ball, Hartenstein, big guy, even Jay Will, who is a big guy too. They're both physically stronger than Wemby, and they're doing a hell of a job of keeping him off the glass in game 3, bumping him, hitting him, and tiring him is the other part. So that's one part of the equation. I'll come back to the tired part. But I don't think they're doing Mitch Johnson and the Spurs, Wemby, any favors here by not scheming enough offense, I don't think, to get him the ball closer to the basket. In game 3, think of how many oops did he have? Maybe 1, maybe 2, but like very few rim rolls, duck-ins, just like he's just getting pushed more and more out. There's like very little mismatches that they're getting or switching to get him on a smaller defender. Everybody's smaller, but you know what I mean? Not a Hartenstein, not a Jay Will. Obviously, Caruso sees time on him and stuff like that. But as this series has progressed, he in game 1, he took 2 3-pointers. In these last 2 games, he's taken 12. Again, that is huge credit to OKC and Hartenstein, and they're playing a part in that as he's like been phased out more and more to the perimeter. Now, the funny part is he's shooting 42% from deep. Like, this is a great number. But anytime he shoots that, even that one where he had Reggie Miller drooling at the start of the game, he's in his bag. OKC has to look at that as a win every time, right? Like, he's taking a shot outside the paint. That's a defensive win. Okay, if he hits it, he hits it. But that one, he had to dribble like 10 times to get his shot. So they're doing an awesome job. And to wrap up the Wemby part, you now have people, and it was a concern that we talked about on the show too. Like, we were curious, Wemby in the playoffs here. This Wemby shot chart diet has us going, okay, is it the conditioning, and is he capable of playing this many high leverage minutes on the quick turnarounds in the playoffs, the one-day breaks against obviously physical teams, after he played pretty relatively low minutes in the regular season? I think it's a fair question, like that shock. And as it's gone on here, and as we've got deeper and deeper into the postseason, it's an adjustment. And I think it's all of these things together. I think it's awesome OKC defense from their big guys here and getting physical as you can with them. I think the Spurs doing a bit of a poor job in terms of like putting them in the right spots on the floor. I think that's also on Wemby because of, let's be honest, maybe some fatigue and a little bit of settling. A lot easier to just jack a 3 over anyone because you're 7'5" or 7'4" than it is to establish position, really get it. And when he did it in game 3, it had positive results. I can think of a couple times where he's on the block or really worked his ass off to try and sort of pin and get deep position on a Hartenstein in semi-transition, then he would score on those. But I don't know, maybe the idea of having to do that every possession is tiring him. But I think you're going to need to see, I think it's going to be a game plan of the Spurs. Like, we got to get them operating down there more, and that we got to help them out to do that. Now, after the game, Wemby said all the right things. I think you want to hear from your superstar. He said, quote, "I feel like I'm having trouble making my teammates better right now. My shooting splits aren't terrible," which they're not. "I need to be more of a team player, facilitate better, rebound the ball better, no doubt, push their defense a little bit further, and see how much they need to help with my teammates and then feed them." So I like that. Now you got to execute. And, the other part of this equation is anytime he's off the floor, they stink. Through 3 games, they're plus 21 when Wemby's out there, and they are a minus 38 when he's off. So it's on one hand, it's like, okay, he's got to go balls to the walls when he's out there and battle these bigger guys, stronger, just, more weight to these guys on OKC. But we need to get him rest. But when we get him rest, we get blitzed here. And maybe they should maybe just go like super small when Wemby's getting his 10 minutes or whatever it is, 12 minutes of rest. I don't know. No easy answer with this OKC team. But that was my fourth point. Wemby and being limited and all the things going into that. Fifth takeaway, the hate is starting to build, which is great for us NBA fans. And what I mean by that is emotions were boiling over in the second half there. Castle had, he hit the floor on back-to-back dunk attempts. And that second result or attempt resulted in a flagrant 1 foul called against AJ Mitchell. I think you can roll your eyes at that one a little bit. I didn't think it was malicious by any means. I don't think it was even all that much of a push. It was more of a trying to grab and swipe and no easy baskets. But anyway, they gave him the flagrant 1 foul, and then Devin Vassell took issue with it. He stepped to Mitchell. They exchanged pushes, words, not much, and got the text on that. So, but game 3 at this point, everybody's tired of each other, as they should be. And, it bubbled up to the surface a little bit. And Spurs need to show that fight, of course, in game 4 to try and make this 2-2. My sixth takeaway is that third quarter, which I alluded to already. Woof. Whew. I think people said it took 45 to 46 minutes to play the third quarter with reviews and the dust up and the millions of fouls, and everybody was getting called. Everybody was going to the line. It was a slog. There was no rhythm to this. I thought the whole game sort of lacked any sort of flow. And if you're the visiting team, that's probably what you want. But that third quarter, don't go back and rewatch that one. You don't need to. And then my final takeaway is the injuries here. Let's go through the MASH unit. So no J-Dub for the Thunder, which, as my buddy Ken said, in talking about this game last night in our WhatsApp chat, he's like, the Thunder look this good without their Scottie Pippen. And it's like, yeah, that's dangerous. I mean, you maybe don't think J-Dub is on that level, but you get Ken's point. I mean, he's an all-NBA two-way guy who was instrumental in last year's title, and he's not even playing, and it doesn't matter. They look somehow better. So he didn't play. He had the re-injured left hamstring. He's considered day-to-day. See if he goes in game 4 on Sunday. AJ Mitchell suffered an injury in the third quarter after logging only 17 minutes. He was fighting through something at the end of the game too. He's banged up. We'll see what his status is. De'Aaron Fox played, like I said, started well. I think helped in reducing the turnovers. He shot okay. He looked solid, but then he re-aggravated his high right ankle sprain, I should say, late in the third. And that was the player, there was a loose ball in Dort, and this one wasn't dirty by any means, I don't think. Unfortunately hit the ankle or rolled into the ankle a bit. He fought through it, Fox did, but he looked hobbled. Mitch Johnson has indicated Fox is going to be a game-time decision for the remainder of the playoffs. And then Dylan Harper played last night too. It was a right adductor pain, soreness. Had nothing to do with a hamstring like we thought at first. Didn't Shams tell us that? Am I crazy, or is that what they said on the broadcast? Anyway, not much from Dylan Harper, the Rook, who's been lights out throughout the entire postseason. 6 points, very little impact. And I'm sure the pain of the right adductor. Man, we haven't said or read the word adductor more than we have over the past few years. So many adductors. Still don't even know where it is. So that's the injury update. I guess the Spurs guys played. Will they both play? Probably. The Spurs have not lost back-to-back games until this series, until January. Let me reword that. That came out bad. The Spurs have lost back-to-back games for the first time since January. There, that's better. Which is mind-blowing. So their season is on the line on Sunday. I don't think you're climbing out of a 3-1 hole versus the defending champs, who look better than they did last year and are just clicking. So I think both tonight's game in Cleveland and then, of course, game 4 in San Antonio, it's like these are the ones that'll decide whether or not we are just locked in. And I think we're getting there anyway, but whether we're locked in quickly, probably to Thunder Knicks in the NBA Finals. Those 2 games, tonight and then tomorrow. So yeah, That's the game. Comment away here in the stream team. Tough for me to obviously read your comments while I try and go through my takeaways. I don't have random notes for you today. I watched this game a little differently. I did go out for dinner last night with friends and Nora, and then sort of keeping my eye on the game, but then got back. I got back for the third quarter, unfortunately. So then there was a lot of watching that and obviously ending it, and then went back and watched the first half. Especially I want to see the 15-0 start and then how OKC got back into it. So I wasn't live for this one. So didn't have a chance to take my crazy random notes where I'm all super high and I'm like, hey, look at that camera angle. Hey, look at that guy in the crowd. Hey, why isn't that guy wearing a belt? Shit like that. So none of that. That's okay. We'll have more random notes come Monday at the very least, because we will have a podcast on Memorial Day. We'll be back in the factory. All the boys. But let's take a quick break, and then I want to talk about the all defensive teams and go through them with you guys. As y'all know, this show is brought to you by FanDuel. NBA fans, this is your reminder to check in daily, because every day during the playoffs, FanDuel is serving up a happy hour. Talking special drops you don't want to miss, profit boosts, bonus bets, and more. And the best part, it's every single day. That includes Saturday. Happy hour on the weekend. Who knew? I mean, I'm working right now. I need a happy hour. So make sure you open the FanDuel app and see what's waiting for you today. Check for a new reward every single day of the playoffs. Starting to run out of playoffs, guys. So keep checking here every single day. Don't miss your shot to get a little extra out of the action, a little extra squeeze with your little extra sweat. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA. FanDuel, an official partner of No Dunks. Okay, let's talk all defensive teams. I'm going to throw them up here for everybody. Let's make sure I have the first team here. Yes, I do. First team, all D. Wemby and Chet headlining this one, which was announced Friday night, 1 hour before Game 3, where the two went at it. By the way, Chet, I thought a little more engaged defensively in Game 3. That was good to see from Chet Holmgren. I forgot to mention that. Sarr Thompson, Rudy Gobert, and Derek White rounding out the all-defensive first team. Here is your second team. Scotty Barnes, Cason Wallace, Bam Adebayo, OG Anunoby, and Dyson Daniels. The human vacuum, the Australian vacuum, Dyson Daniels, named to the all-defensive second team. So, a few takeaways. Whoa, camera. Don't worry about my ceiling so much. What are you doing? Really wanted to show you my pot lights. First takeaway. We talk about it a lot with defense. Individual accolades play a part in a team defense. And 4 of the top 5 teams in defensive rating, the number 1 Thunder, the number 2 Pistons, the number 3 Spurs, and the number 4 Celtics, they placed 1 player apiece on the first team. Gobert's Wolves finished 8th in defensive rating. The biggest surprise, though, is White over Scotty Barnes on the first team. It's surprising because, well, one, Scotty Barnes is a better defender right now than Derek White, or was this season, and we definitely saw it in the playoffs. But the other part is, in the actual Defensive Player of the Year voting, Scotty Too Hottie finished 5th. White finished 6th. Yet in all defensive team voting, they flip-flopped. White got 58 first-team votes, 30 second-team votes, 146 total points. Barnes got 42 first-team votes and 46 second-team votes for 130 total points. What up with that? I mean, they got this wrong. Let's just be honest. I think Scotty Barnes was probably the 3rd, at the very least 4th best defensive player in the league. I think probably closer to 3rd. For him to be bounced from the first team, that sucks. Now, all that said, God damn, I don't know what the hell's going on with this camera. That said, I infamously, I guess, I don't know. I know Trey Kirby always gets upset with me. I do always say, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter to your NBA legacy or Hall of Fame credentials or whatever, whether you were like a first or second team all defensive guy. And I've extended that to even say in all NBA selections. I don't think it really matters. Like, it's going to just say you were an all NBA guy, blah, blah, this many years, right? We don't really, there's not a lot of deep diving into like, yeah, he made 7 all NBA teams, but he only made one all-NBA first team. We just don't do it. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying we don't do it. So the key number is totality, the number of how many all-NBA selections, be it first, second, or third team. Same thing with all defense is my point here. So as much as a Raptors fan, I think it's stupid that Barnes wasn't on the first team, all-defensive team. It's okay. It's a selection that he's going to add a bunch of these to his hopefully Hall of Fame career down the line. So it is what it is, but it's wrong. I think most people would agree with that too. Having Scotty off is weird. Other snubs, like actually not on the teams. I know Amen Thompson and Stephon Castle were close. They just missed the cut. I think you can make a case that either of them you could take over maybe a Dyson Daniels this year. But they were just short in total votes. Other surprises that I want to make note of. Evan Mobley, he won Defensive Player of the Year last year, right? In 24-25. Do I have that right? Do I have my years right? He got 13 second place votes. So like pretty wild when you think of that drop off just in terms of the respect from the voters. And I'm not saying he deserved to be on it. I just think, wow, that's glaring. I wonder how many times that's happened, especially with a big, because it's like defense is like of all the awards, like it's reputation based. I mean, that's a big part of why Derek White is probably on the first team. It's just more ingrained as a reputational thing. You're a good defender. You were a good defender. You've remained a good defender. So Mobley, hell of a drop off. And then Jaden McDaniels. I mean, he got 3 votes. And we've just named a bunch of great defenders, so it's tough. Like, you're going to run out of spots. Maybe we need an all-defensive third team. I mean, if, like, it is half the game here, why not we show a little bit more love to defense? So, whatever. He just got 3 votes. I thought that was just an interesting note. That's all for you. Let's go to Woboy. A little bit of the night. Look at this. Not filling the whole screen. Who cares? Woboy, not sponsored by anyone today. Not on the weekends. Come on, man. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored a game-high 26 points. He gets Woboy. Lily. 6 of 17 from the field. Boo. But sank all 12 of his free throw attempts. Yay. Dished out 12 assists, 2 boards, 1 blocked shot in 36 minutes. You could have made a case for Jared McCain, I guess. Even Big J. Will, who was pretty damn good. Those guys, I mean, I really should have just gave Woboy to the bench. Will bench to OKC. Everybody coming through that played off the pine for OKC. We'll call it there. Knicks Cavs tonight. Game 3, 8 o'clock, ABC. As I said, this is the season on the line for Cleveland. Come on, Mobley. Come on, Mitchell. Come on, Harden. Come on, Allen. Give us a series here. I know Knicks fans aren't going to care. They don't want that. Yeah, come on in, camera. Why not? Completely random. Just as soon as I started stroking my beard, the camera decided, let's get a nice tight shot of that. Yeah, good work. Is this an AI camera running in the yard now? Probably. I hope for Cleveland to show something here. I'm with Trey. There needs to be like an outlier performance, like a Strus, a Schroeder. Sam Merrill would be great if he could hit a 3. Maybe it is just a big Mitchell or Harden game. There's got to be something because the Knicks, like the Thunder, they have this thing called the team where, man, everybody's clicking. And like the confidence just builds and builds from game to game. So going to be tough, but I still have some faith that Cleveland can maybe get one here that the Cavs can get one in Cleveland. I hope so. Let me take a quick look at any of your notes. Somebody said, interesting that Wallace over Dort for all defensive selection. It's a good point. Like Dort has been more known as their wing guy. That is true. Casey Wallace is a dog on that end. People are saying the Celtics have lobbyists. Yes, sure. A lot of Scotty robbed talk here. Going back, Hong says, yeah, weak flagrant. I'm with you. I mean, in the end, it's like, obviously, of course, it had no real impact on the game. Refs trying to just like nip it in the bud. Do you see the clip of who was it? It was Isaiah Joe on the Thunder bench when all the little scuffle went down. He did like a pretend like a little fake out, like he was going to run onto the court and get suspended. Spooked his assistant coach, like all the guys ready to hold them back. He just pretended he was going to go. Made me laugh. But yeah, appreciate all the comments. Appreciate you joining me here. for a quick 35 minute No Dunk Saturday podcast. Hopefully we get a close one tonight. Really entertaining game. If we do, maybe we'll jump back on tomorrow morning. So hit the like button and subscribe. Comment away, 5-star ratings and reviews. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, you can also comment on Spotify. You'll love to see that. When are you going to do that, Apple? When are you going to get comments going? You finally added video as an option, I saw. Cool. Get your head in the game, Apple. All right. Oh, yeah. That's what we're going to do. Where is it? Clipper Bro. Where are you, buddy? There he is.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
What'd you say? Let's do it again.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining me. I just did that to give JD more work. He's got to put that audio clip in for the podcast listeners. Have a great Saturday. Hopefully it's dry where you are. And you have a great long weekend. Might see you tomorrow. If not, of course, Monday from the Classic Factory with all the boys. Peace.